Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only, and it's not intended as financial advice. So I meant to do this video yesterday, but I've been enjoying my summer, and here we are. And per usual, BTC pulls back slightly, and alts just absolutely get slaughtered. Nothing new, no surprise. If you're surprised, surprise! This always happens every time. I don't actually think this BNB market cap is correct, but yeah, I mean, Tether just continues to eat the world and get bigger than every other coin there is. So there's been a lot of weirdness lately. I wouldn't say a series of unfortunate events, but things have been pretty weird. So we have the president. Now, most of this stuff you know about already, because, unless you're living under a rock, but the president talks about Bitcoin. Steve Mnuchin holds a press briefing on crypto. There's a Facebook Libra crypto hearing. There's all this press about Libra this, Libra that. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, any of this matters at all. Short term, yeah, it's going to have an impact, but I'm not paying attention to this. I don't really think it is a big deal. I don't expect Libra to launch soon or ever. And then there's some other market weirdness. So we had some genius of a big brain trader close maybe the largest short close ever, if this even can be trusted anymore. I don't even know, but so this is Bitfinex long short data. Red is shorts, green is long, and as you can see, it just I don't know if it was 10K, 20K. Let's see, 30 to it must have been 20K. 20K shorts close, basically at the top ish. Okay, then we get another close. Now shorts are essentially at an all-time low based on available data. A little bit weird. We had a Binance random 6,500 BTC sell, $200 below market, just because, that's just the way it is in crypto. Things happen like this, apparently. I don't know if this was a market order. I don't know if it's like Bitstamp where they have this instant order garbage where you can just put this huge market order on the book and just let it sit there. In legacy markets, this would never happen. I mean, I don't care either way. I'm just saying, in legacy markets, this would never happen. It is what it is. If you have a big order like this, they don't fill it on the book. You can't market sell orders that big. Why wouldn't this guy OTC, again, another big brain trader, just hemorrhaging money? He did okay now. This was at 12K. Obviously, we're at 9.5 or whatever we are now. But those couple days leading into it just didn't make any sense at all. Then we had 2 ETH crashes on Stamp. Again, this was probably that instant order garbage that many of us have told them they need to change, fix, or remove. Same thing with Binance, allegedly, in my mind, that it was another market sell. That I'm almost certain this was a market sell, and it was one of those instant orders where it just sits on the book and it just gets pushed down until eventually it gets bought up. So you can see there's a massive slippage here, all in a minute. Pretty clearly that was a market order. I don't have volume on here. Then we had another dip. So both of these dips together caused a crap ton of liquidations in the DeFi markets. I'll talk about ETH later on, but when DeFi is soaking up supply in a bull market, it's great. It's amazing, just like ICOs. Nothing is better than that, The supply shock propelling price up. But then when there's a supply glut, when there's basically a long squeeze on these over-leveraged DeFi positions, they get dumped on market, price goes lower, and it's just a cascading cycle. It's just another version of a margin cascade. So live by DeFi, die by DeFi. I don't really know the fix for this other than multi-collateral DAI, which Louis of Wire talks about. Another weirdness was Tether, not Tether, DAI was up to $1.35 because of all the liquidations on the MakerDAO stuff. They have multi-collateral DAI coming, which means it'll be most likely BTC and ETH. You can collateralize or whatever, use as collateral. So yeah, that's a bunch of stuff that happened over the past couple days. Let's get to some charts. I did a Bitcoin article for BraveNewCoin on the 10th. So kind of where we were last video. This was the 7th. So last video we were talking about this inverted head and shoulders. Everybody and their mother was bearish on Twitter. I saw very few bulls on Twitter during this time. Other than Bitcoin Schmidtcoin, to his credit. He was bullish. But everybody was bamboozled by this weekly, what people thought of as a shooting star, hanging man, whatever, candlestick. But to me, this looked good. This is always a long trade, every single time. It's got the pattern, it's got the cloud breakout, 4-hour breakouts have been really strong lately. So yada, yada, yada. We had that. Okay, it happened, cool. Kind of flagged out, broke up, 13K, cool. Yearly pivot, 2-hour bear div. This is where I closed my leverage position, and I gave back a little bit of the spot position on the way down because it happened so quickly, but it is what it is. So, if you're not familiar, there's a RSI bear div here. We had made a higher high on lower momentum, both on MACD and RSI, probably on volume too. I don't have it on here. But yeah, this didn't look good for continuation, especially when it happens at a key level, like a yearly pivot. So no surprise that we reversed from there. A bit surprising we reversed so heavily. Something else I've been watching is this parabola, something that has been in our lexicon since last year that I didn't really know about. I probably don't give enough of these people credit for things that they expose me to that either, malarkey or not, but they make me look into things, which is probably why I'm here in the first place. But I wasn't aware of any parabolic anything in markets, until Parabolic Trav and whoever else started talking about it. So good on them. But we broke down from the parabola July 11th. So at that time, it didn't look good. I was talking about M double top at that time as well. I'll talk about that some more. But the 2,000 foot view for me right now is either we were going to consolidate and not complete the M and then make a decision towards the end of the month into August, or we make the M and we just die from here. That's basically what's happening. We didn't get a massive bounce at the Kijun exactly. So if I'm splitting hairs here, the quality of the Kijun bounces. If you look at this bounce the other day, it was a massive wick. It was a dragonfly. That's what you want to see for a confident Kijun bounce. We did have a bounce here the day after. It hit the Kijun, then it just sort of rolled over to where we are now. So now we're below the Kijun. All bets are off for longs. The trend is still bullish as long as we're above the cloud, but there's certainly no buy for me here. I think I bought on spot basically at the low, like 98.50 or something. So I'm just going to hold that. It is what it is. But, these aren't like massive positions I'm entering here with confidence. So what I'm calling 88 for the quarter, 8,800, 86, 87, whatever that is. I'm just looking at the cloud levels. I don't ever just spew out random numbers. Even the 33K, the infamous 33K prediction was based on Pitchfork, if anything. So, yeah, don't get mad at me when you see me calling prices. We could go as low as the previous yearly pivot that we broke up from. So, resistance now, support now, ideally. This is like trying to predict the future a month out for Bitcoin. Impossible, but it depends what we do at the cloud, below the cloud, at the yearly pivot, at this previous level. It depends if we draw this big macro head and shoulders and then start testing 78, 76. I'll get nervous if we're below the cloud and we've got this macro head and shoulders and we've got this descending volume profile and we're at the yearly pivot support. It's like, I wonder what's going to happen next. Odds get pretty good stacked up that that's going to break down even further. Again, a month out or more, just something to keep in the back of your mind, something I'll be keeping in the back of my mind. Now, we may pull up from here, meander a bunch. I'm still going to be looking for this edge-to-edge trade in the cloud, should it occur. It's more bearish than bullish, certainly. Another thing I'm looking at is this OG Bitstamp Pitchfork on log using these points of anchor points. You can say, oh, well, Josh, went above. Yeah, whatever. Okay. It is what it is. This is kind of like the Mayer multiple. It's kind of like the ASOP rainbow thing, just where basically the median of the trend has been, the mean of the trend, for most of the time, as far as I can see. Maybe it's not most. Maybe it's 65% of the time. In any case, we were back in it, and we stopped at the previous high. I just keep adding rows as long as there are levels that we're reversing on or touching. And, this level's been good since 2015, so there's no reason to think that's just like some magical zone here. at any rate, if we enhance further, this is the 12 hour now. The median line is at 87, 88, something like that, right below us. If we stop dying over the next day or two, it'll raise up a little bit. But that's certainly a high probability zone. Once you find a top or a bottom on the pitchfork, you typically return to the median of the pitchfork. That's just a general rule for that. You're zooming in again with the volume. You can see there's not much support volume-wise until like 8K. So I could almost see like a stab to 8K and then like return to 88 and like figure it out from there. But this will definitely be a pause zone because it was previously. I don't expect this to really be super strong. This mini triangle we created. This was the head and shoulders fake out that failed. So I can see us sort of chilling between 8 and 9. And Q3 never is a good quarter for Bitcoin, at least typically. We typically close negative 10%, 15%, whatever it is. So it'd certainly be in line. There's this wake me up when September ends meme that I remember tweeting about years ago and like recently. So, September's never been good. It's always been, it's all about Q4. It's all about Q2. This isn't a surprise. You can call this an Adam Eve double top. You can call this an M double top. You can call this a cup and handle. Whatever you call it, 6 ways to Sunday, it's bearish. I can't see anything bullish about this. Hence why I'm out of most of my stuff, especially on leverage. If we look at, this is from a few days ago, but if we look at the weekly, I talked about this a couple of videos ago, probably this isn't anything new, but the level I'm looking at, 72, 7300, based on high time frame moving averages. The B-band median is a 20 SMA. The 28 EMA is the daily 200 EMA. I just did some math, converted that. So strong zone, 73, 75, something like that. Certainly reasonable to have bids there. Expecting a massive bouncy bounce like we have had on the previous trend. And then just looking at RSI and percent B. Percent B is just where the price sits within the band. You can see we bounced above the band, the median of the band in the previous trend. So it's going to be above 50 on the percent B. RSI, it's actually didn't dip below 53-ish. So, this is kind of the zone. If we want to just like make an arbitrary line and say what happened last time. If RSI goes to 53 and we're at the median and there maybe is a candlestick or whatever, or you just want to put bids there, that's fine too. That's what I'm going to do. So set it and forget it. Don't worry about it. Regardless of what the daily call is going to show, it'll be bearish if it's below 86. So not too concerned with that personally as far as like a long-term entry. And we were massively away from the 200 here on the daily on this breakdown. You can see we had the golden cross here, so it makes sense that we go back to 73 or 74, whatever this is, for the same reason that we mean reverted previously in the bear market. You can only get away from the mean so much before people start taking profit, and the more people start taking profit, and then stuff starts rolling over, and then you go back to the mean, and that's what's happening. If you look at the 4 hour, I wasn't really paying attention to this until today, but the previous 4 hour bull cross happened in February, and it's been good up until now. We're probably going to get a bear cross here, which is good if you want to look for a relong, because it tells me if we get a bear cross followed by a bull cross, that should be a go long signal. Ideally, I'd want to see price above the daily cloud. So, maybe the cloud will twist down on the daily. The resistance will decrease a little bit, but overall, I think that'd be a good trade. I don't expect it anytime soon, but it's certainly something to watch. And then lastly for Bitcoin, again, these future contracts, dates, expirations have been bigly important. So the next one's July 26th. It'd be pretty interesting if we sort of dump until July 24th and then kind of reverse or go sideways into this contract rollover and then do something else. Typically what's happened is we've sort of followed the trend really heavy. All right, I take that back. I can't really say that. Basically, we just dump every time. I mean, dump. We dump on all of these opens. Even when we were massively bullish, we dumped. So maybe we just pause on the 24th, 25th, and then just start dumping again when you can open up the next contract on the 29th or whatever that is, whatever day Monday is. This is probably a Friday, July 26th. All right, ETH talking about few charts. Big things mainly October hard fork Istanbul. They're going to change the proof of work algorithm probably to Prague proof of work if that gets approved and audited. The big thing was at least last week, the month-to-month ETH ICO treasury withdrawals. The biggest withdrawal since December and the second biggest since January 18, at least that I have data for. So that was Golem, GNT, I think it is, GOLM. They're a pretty old ICO project. They've been holding for a long time. So again, when we're looking at supply glut, these ICOs are, maybe they weren't dumping. We don't know for sure. I'm assuming if you're moving ETH that you haven't moved in years, you're not going to do something with it, typically. Certainly they could be putting it into some DeFi thing, but I didn't really hear about that. So I might be wrong here, but I'm assuming they're just selling it on market or whatever, OTC somewhere. So as long as we have, over 2 million ETH sitting in ICO treasuries, that's a bunch of supply still that could just continually bleed onto the market. Now ETH, I'm not gonna lie to you, it doesn't look good. It's already below the cloud. This is a 12-hour. It's back in this pretty wide bearish pitchfork. I mean, 100 isn't out of the question based on the median line rules, similar to what I was talking about for Bitcoin. And you can see it kind of never broke. I mean, it did. Okay, it did. I'll give you that. It broke the pitchfork, but it just is kind of lethargic. And I'm only adding this upper zone, these two upper zones, because there was a wider zone previously. I don't just add random stuff. But you can see that the volume's just sort of died since November. There's been this weird RSI channel curvature concave thing that I don't really know what that's about, but yeah, that's there. Like I said, Istanbul, then Serenity. January, both these dates are tentative. Istanbul probably will be late October, if that. The previous hard fork in October, Constantinople, was the one that was pushed back to January 20th the following year. Yeah, I mean, this coupled with everything else I talked about for ETH, I think it's going to be tough to go up. I don't know. I don't see anything good right now. It just broke the 200 on the daily today, so it's not only bearish on the cloud, it's bearish on EMAs. Soon to be a bearish 5200 cross, death cross. So we'll see, but where I'm sitting right now does not look good. I don't necessarily see a massive bearish pattern here, but there's certainly, I mean, look at these candlesticks. They're just massive, not even massive volume, but massive price movements. Part of this was the Bitstamp flash crash, but it just kept going. It just keeps going. These DeFi positions are continually being dumped. Yeah, I don't know. It's just rough. And then lastly, ETH BTC just broke its multi-year support a couple days ago. And, 0.19 or 0.019, whatever this is Poloniex, so this volume data is kind of wonky anyway. But that's kind of like the support before, things get real interesting down here. So we'll see. That's all I have for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. I'll put all the links in the description below, and happy trading.